Welcome back. I will be speaking at a live event in New York City on November 5th at 2 p.m. with Drew Insalata from The Anxious Truth. Details can be found at joeryan.com. Click on the live event link at the top of the page. If you want to subscribe to all episodes, you can do so through Spotify or Apple Podcasts. If you are interested in coaching, working through your family systems, your false self, trying to get to live a more authentic life, you can go to joeryan.com/coaching. You can also find me on Instagram at joeryan, and for all of my social links, joeryan.com/links. Here we go. What we really want is to be able to love without fear. A safe place to open up. To let all of that love we have inside of us that has been trapped behind fear out. There's such a euphoric feeling of love that brings harmony and peace to the body, mind, and soul. But we've never felt safe experiencing or giving love, and that's the goal. The goal is to give and receive freely without fear. When you put yourself farther out there than others, when you have been used and humiliated for loving somebody more than yourself, we're out of balance. We keep it all bottled up inside. Letting it out and showing how you feel about yourself and others. That place inside where the protection once was, and now you're unprotected and you're letting it flow. In the moment, it feels incredible. And then you go into your head afterwards, and it's oversharing, it is vulnerable, it is opening yourself up. And those are the chances that we're going to want to take at some point. You know, my journey inward where I had to block everybody out, cut everybody off, and just live this lonely, isolated existence because I didn't trust the world anymore and I didn't trust myself in it. I had to pull back and shrink my world to me, to learn how to start trusting myself. See, we don't trust ourselves. Our feelings, needs, and wants were invalidated. Nobody showed up for us. So we filled everybody else's needs and abandoned ours. The journey home is to start taking care of your own needs, wants, and desires. And the only way that I could do that safely and the way we do it is to isolate and to cut off and to process and to bring down that nervous system and to negotiate with ourselves to find our worth and value. And pulling it back to baseline to just you and starting to get comfortable. See, I never really lived my life cautiously. I was pretty reckless with everything in my life, money, my body, my heart, my soul. Like it just, if it felt good, I ran to it. If it's something shiny and attractive, I ran to it. And then soaked up that good feeling until it was gone. And then I was twice as empty as I was before because it was this huge letdown. See, I had no foundation of self. I had no trust within my body. I had no trust within myself. And the only way to do that is to start living on your own, for yourself, by yourself. And it's very lonely, and it's very sad, and it's very small, and very cautious, and very fearful. Taking out the external, not having to worry about anybody's opinions or feelings, and taking care of your own is where it starts. You pull in. You lose the fear of missing out. You lose the connections that had kept you going, that had given you worth and value from the outside. And you start filling that up on the inside. And we don't know what this is. We don't know how to do it. We're just kind of lost, blindfold, throwing darts at the dartboard, hoping to hit something that sticks. And that's what you do. You start to find out who you are alone. See, if I'm not good by myself, if I'm not good alone, I'm going to be seeking things outside of myself to fill me up. And when those things no longer fill me up, or those people walk out of my life, or there's a breakup, or you lose your job, or a friendship ends, if that's where my source of supply of good feeling and love and connection is coming from, I'm going to be hurt every time somebody walks away or something fails or falls apart. Because we've never built a sense of who we are. We have no idea who the fuck we are inside because we were programmed to know what everybody around us was feeling. And if we made them feel good and we made them feel safe and we calmed them down and we took care of their anger, we felt safe. And we do this everywhere in the world, but we never made ourselves feel safe inside. We were trying to make the exterior predictable. So there was a lot of instability. There was a lot of just ups and downs, and you're in, you're out. There was no consistency. Trauma craves consistency and predictability. And we can't have that from things outside of ourselves that are out of our control. The only thing that we can control is us. And we don't know how to do that because we're always outside of us, scanning the room for loss and hurt and betrayal. But we've betrayed ourselves. And we continue to do so until we start to go inward. I have spent many years going back into the hurt and the pain, to reframe it, to grieve it, to release it. Moving forward after managing those fears is to move forward with love and care and understanding of yourself. And when we get to a place where we start to value who we are and we start to care for ourselves and love ourselves and nurture ourselves, and we start to fill ourselves up from the inside, we start to overflow. And we can't keep it in anymore, and we want to start giving it away because we have an overabundance. And that is the walk forward after processing so much of the past, is to start taking chances. See, I can heal my past the best I can. And then I sit here and I say, now what? What's next? What's next is moving forward, moving out in the world, starting to slowly build connections with others, dipping your toe in, starting to take a chance, starting to open up, starting to be vulnerable, starting to let people in. I never felt it was safe to love. I want it. I need it. I desire it. But those fears that kept all of that good, positive, joyful energy trapped inside of me was just as much of a disturbance as holding on to the hurt and the pain. Emotions are energy in motion. Love, fear, anger, joy. It's all energy. And the more we keep that energy stuck inside of us, the worse we feel, the more limited we are. Learning how to love and not fear it. Wow. I mean, seriously, to put yourself out. We've been so hurt by it. We have looked at the people who took care of us, and we needed them to love us. We needed their positive mirroring faces looking at us to fill us up, because as children, that's what we need. We needed to be filled up. We needed our narcissistic needs met. And when you didn't get that positive mirroring face, you're reaching for it all the time. You start to love and let the walls down, and then you get creamed and you wall up. And this happens time and time again. And then you get into relationships later in life, and you're with selfish people, narcissistic people, abusive people, and you're just sitting there, please just give me some crumbs of affection. And every little crumb you get, you hold on. And they instinctively know how much to give you so that you don't leave. So we don't trust to love, but we desire it tremendously. We need a safe environment where we can be vulnerable and not get hurt. And man, is that really difficult to find. So people are all scarred. They're all coming from different places. They all love and they're all guarded in different ways. But there's a reservoir of love buried inside you that is dying to come out, that needs to come out. But you don't feel safe doing it because it's never worked out well. So we learn to repress ourselves. We learn to hold it back, letting it out slowly and testing the waters and getting burnt. I mentioned I didn't date for 3 years, and then I started dating, and you start to fall into those feelings and those emotions, and it's like, is this the person that I can do this with? Can I give this away and get it back and keep that balance of love and energy flowing? And then when you start to realize you're not getting what you need, you go into this shameful place of, I'm not good enough. And how many of us have sat in these relationships and just obsessed over it and bitched to our friends and moaned and complained about what we weren't getting, but we didn't stand up for ourselves because we didn't feel we had the worth and value, that we just have to accept what's given and take it, whether we like it or not, because we have this desire to love and be loved. And when somebody comes along and we start to relate with them and it starts to flow, we don't want it to stop because it feels good. But then you're giving too much and not getting enough, and there's no balance, and then it's fear, and then it's, I'm being played, am I being taken advantage of? Where's my worth and value? Why am I always showing up and the other person isn't? Because we don't know our worth and value, and we are afraid to replay our past of where we came from, where we had to take and accept what the people who raised us gave us, and we had to smile and say thank you. And we didn't have a say in the relationship. See, it wasn't love, it was hostage taking. So a lot of our relationships, we feel like we're a hostage because that's the source relationship that we had seen. It's learned helplessness. See, the prison door is open. We're not a hostage anymore. But emotionally, that still sits in us. And we still are feeling and viewing it the same way. When I first got back into dating, I went right back to starting to take the same shit that I had always taken. And I'm like, really, 3 fucking years of working on yourself and you're right back to where you were? And I just hit that level at one point with this one person. And the disrespect and the betrayal that I was feeling was real. And I kept denying it because I have this place inside of me of needing to be loved and give love. And it opened that door for a few minutes. And I liked it and I liked how it felt. But then the door closed on her end. And I was left out in the cold. And I wanted to get back in. But I had to give up too much for her to open that door. I had to sacrifice my self-worth and my self-respect for her to open the door. And it doesn't need to be that way. I had the benefit of having an incredible relationship. I have a reference point of what it should feel like and how it should be for me. That after that relationship, I know what it's supposed to feel like. And I had forgotten that. And this relationship reminded me, if it doesn't feel right, you shouldn't be there. See, it's that desire for love, that we don't see red flags, that we give ourselves up, that we go back to that 7-year-old who had to do the craziest shit just not to be beat and abandoned. You have no inner life in those relationships. Your worth and value is depending on what they're giving you because you don't know how to give it to yourself. I know what it's supposed to feel like for me. I had just gotten really lonely and wanted connection, and I was accepting something that I shouldn't have. And I let go of that, and I ended that relationship, gave up trying to make somebody see my worth and value. I was with the wrong person. And when you are with the wrong person, the right person may have just walked past you. Do not waste time with crumbs of affection. Don't waste time trying to prove your worth and value to somebody who doesn't deserve it. Prove your worth and value to yourself. Start doing for you. The more you can fill yourself up, the more self-worth and value you can feel, the less shit you are going to take from anybody else out there in this world. And you don't deserve to take any more shit. You've taken enough. Your quota has been filled. Break the patterns of the past. It's painful. It is lonely, but it is worth it.
Thanks for listening. You can contact me at joeryan.com. Follow me on Instagram at joeryan. And if you want, you can leave us a review on iTunes. That'd be great. All right, take care.